Hello, I am Pheasantclop, and welcome to the video. Now, over the past few months, I've heard from Clownfish TV and Nerdrotic and others about the decline of the comic book industry. And while I've been hearing this, I've thought about what I would do to save the comic book industry, especially the big two, using what I remember from what I liked about comics as a kid to what I don't like about comics now, and the things I've heard about it as well. So now, with the quote bloodbath unquote at DC Comics, I thought I'd put some of these thoughts into a video. Mind you, this is my opinion, and as they say, your mileage may vary. When I did this earlier, I have 10 of them, and that came to over 20 minutes, and I thought, yeah, it's a little bit much. We'll just do half of it. So here is half of my list of how I would save DC Comics in 10 steps. Number one is you stop everything. You bring everything to as my mom used to say, to a stopping point. All the storylines, the major ones anyway, would be allowed to wrap up. You'd come to the end of the story, and the last page or two of the book is going to be a happily ever after moment. Superman flying over Metropolis, thinking about how everything is going to be good from here on out. Batman standing on the gargoyle in Gotham City and thinking to himself that, things are looking better, and there may come a time in the future when Gotham City actually can do without Batman. Of course, with that, you'd then have the bat signal come on, and him leaping off into the night thinking, but that night is not tonight. So you would have what we call Earth X being left with these final images. This is 2, by the way. You'd begin the new world without ending the old one. There's no big calamity. It's just you'd be leaving Earth X with the final images and the happily ever after and an upbeat feeling that they're going to be okay. They're going to be all right. And then Earth Y begins with a clean slate. I mean, just completely clean. From what I understand, this is what New 52 was supposed to be, but they did a very bad job of it. 3, you set down rules for a continuity, and I mean carve these in stone. No changing histories to match the current storyline. Doesn't mean you can't have a storyline where it looks that way, but at the end of that story, it has to be set back to the original, and it can't be some, magic spell causes something weird. No. If you find proof that Bruce Wayne was adopted, you have to find that the proof was false, was a setup. Someone wanted something out of this. Costumes. These characters are designed with a certain costume. That doesn't mean Wonder Woman can't go out in an evening dress as Diana Prince. But when she becomes Wonder Woman, she's got an outfit she wears. Batman can have specific costumes to deal with certain foes, like one that's made of rubber if he's dealing with someone like the Superman villain Livewire. That's carved in stone as well. Personalities are not going to be changed. Superman is not some emo guy who goes around going, oh, woe is me. Lois doesn't like me. I'm the last Kryptonian, last of my people. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, that's not Superman. Batman doesn't decide all of a sudden, I'm going to go chase these pretty girls rather than going and chasing the Penguin. No, that's not Batman. Number 4, certain things or events or people are restricted, because these characters need time to develop before certain things can happen to them. Superman has to establish himself, world's greatest defender, the Man of Steel. The people have to learn to rely on him in some ways. That's one of the things I didn't like about Man of Steel. Superman just shows up when these other Kryptonians show up. So the people in that world would, in all good sense, see him as one of the people who was destroying Metropolis, not as a guy who was saving them. If he was saving people, he'd be there beforehand. But nope, he wasn't saving kittens from trees or catching flying jetliners. He shows up, he's fighting these people, and they're going through buildings and killing people by dropping buildings on them. So you need to have him established early on in people's minds. You know, he shows up in, I think it was the Man of Steel run, when John Barron, or I can never remember his name, when he shows up before he's got his costume and he catches a jet plane. He needs to establish himself early in order so that there's more gravitas in that universe when he faces the big things later. Supergirl, you have to have her wait until he's established. Whether or not he puts her in an orphanage or she's old enough to do things on her own, Superman has to be there first. Because she, despite what people might think, and there are people who like her a lot more than they like Superman, but that there's a balance, for lack of a better term there. She comes after him because he's the first. The first Kryptonian people know about is Superman. Doomsday. Superman has to be established as the world's greatest protector, the guy who catches airplanes out of the sky, who keeps asteroids from crashing into the earth, who keeps people from destroying the moon, that kind of thing. There has to be years, I'd say at least 5 to 10 years, of Superman being in this world before you could even think of Doomsday. Because Doomsday is something you use to kill Superman. That's what he's used for. That's what this character exists to do. And Superman has to be established enough to really strike with the people of that world. Oh no, what do we do now? If a police officer dies, the only people who are going, what do we do now, is that police officer's family. It's still a bad thing. It's still terrible. But those are the only people who are going to feel that way. Now, even Robin has to wait because, because he's not there at the very beginning with Batman. Batman doesn't become Batman with Robin right there. So Robin has to wait until Batman establishes himself and to the point where he's ready for a sidekick. And Robin, of course, is Dick Grayson, back to the beginning. But that's for another video. And 5 is start at the beginning. Like I said, there's no Justice League. There's no superheroes established in the current world. Even if, say, Batman exists and has been in action at the beginning, he's at the beginning of his character arc. He's just coming into his own. And there may have been some in the past, but they're very, very rare. And any that do exist are local, like Batman's in Gotham City. That's it. There's rumors, legends of the Dark Knight in Gotham City. Some people say he's been there forever. Some people say he just started. Some people say he doesn't exist. You're imagining things. So that's the first part. That's the first half of my list of 10 ideas for saving DC Comics. I'm going to do, of course, the second half list. And there'll probably be at least one more video on this topic, focusing on individual characters. 3 or 4 anyway. In that video, I'll go into detail how I'd limit and also expand the characters of that world, and maybe even touch on the world itself. Haven't written it yet, don't know. But that's it for now. I'll get the other video up soon. If you like the video, please like it, share it, do all the usual video stuff here. And, this is only the second video I've done. So we're still a work in progress. Hopefully we'll be getting better and better as we go along. I am Pheasant Clop, and take care, and I'll see you soon.